I'm standing beside my trusty Bolger Bobcat sailboat, which I started building about 3 years ago, and my plan is to do a bit of a video showing how it progressed from some plywood in the backyard to a great little sailboat. This is the part of the backyard where the boat was built. Tarp over here, dry tools in there, decent workbench. Took about 4 months to build. I'll show you some photos. So I bought some plans from H.H. Payson and Company in the States for the Bolger Bobcat, designed by Phil Bolger, and proceeded to cut some templates out to get some plywood in shape. Decided that the first step would be best to do the centreboard casing so that I get used to using plywood, not having done much timber work. Then the stem, then the bits and pieces started to going together pretty well, and in no time at all it started looking like a boat. Turned her over and had a look at the arrangement of the inside and thought maybe it could be a little more comfortable, so I instituted bench seats instead of the existing design. And from there went on thinking maybe the deck wasn't exactly as I wanted it, so I put a bit of a splashboard or whatever you call it on the front. About that time the sails arrived, so I made sure they fitted properly, and it was time to turn the boat back over and throw some paint on her. Next thing you know, I've got an almost finished boat in the carport ready to go. So the first trial sail was up at Noosa, and it proved to be a lot of fun, particularly away from everyone being critical. The next week it was down to the Brisbane River for the official launch in front of all the Wooden Boat Association crew and family, and it wasn't any time at all before I discovered putting the mast up was a bit difficult, so we made a steel or stainless steel tabernacle which made the whole rigging of the boat so much easier. And then no time at all later I needed a proper position to put the anchor so that I could get it off the boat and back on the boat with a lot of ease, and that worked pretty well. Then I thought, towing it behind such a tiny car, I better check what the trailer weight was, so we devised a way of using normal bathroom scales to measure the trailer weight. It proved to be 500 kilos all up, trailer and boat, which my little Peugeot could just handle. Then decided such a small car, I'm going to need to be able to beach launch this possibly in the future, so we put a, what do they call it, a recovery wheel on the trailer where your actual spare sits on a hub, so it's a 3-wheel trailer, and that proved very effective up at Catharaba one weekend actually. So it was back to sailing with these problems solved, and as is the case with most designers, couldn't leave the thing alone. I decided it didn't have enough speed in really light winds, so I dragged the old Singer treadle sewing machine out and made myself a spinnaker out of some ripstop material from Spotlight, and that seemed to work very well. Sadly, not possibly well enough, because in no time at all the boat sprouted a bowsprit, at which I could now put a jib on the front of it, which is a little more easy to use than the spinnaker. This proved rather good fun actually, and the boat actually sailed better, it pointed better, it just felt more complete. So a little time after that I dragged the Singer out again and knocked up my own jib, which was quite a bit bigger, which gave it a bit more power. So now I had a Bobcat that wasn't quite a catboat anymore, it was more just a sort of gaff rig sloop. So I was pretty happy with that. But maybe it's a good chance right now to just reflect on what it could have been, which is a little video here of Alex Malcolm's standard Bobcat, which is a beautiful little boat. So, having arrived at what I thought was the perfect boat, and still having this melody of having to change everything, I started dreaming of what I could really do if I got carried away. So I knocked up some drawings, because I'm a draftsman, and decided that I'd put a topmast on the boat and really use the topmast and the bowsprit to turn it into a cutter. I always had a bit of a passion for Bristol cutters, so that was the plan. So I did all this, discovered I couldn't put the topmast on easily, so devised a way to use a canvas bag full of water to pull the boat over to put the topmast on, and ended up
with a topsail, a foresail, a jib and a mainsail. And wow, what a machine. It was great fun. In the meantime, I'd actually started to fill in underneath the bench seats of the boat, and also from the middle bulkhead forward. It was all now not so much airtight as less water intrusion, and also added a 60 kilogram lead keel under the boat. This all to compensate for the extra sail. And also, I should mention, 4 stays that helped to stay an unstayed mast that it was originally. About the same time, I did probably the best modification I've made to the boat, which was literally to just screw one piece of timber to the floor behind the centreboard case, where I could plant my feet when I'm sitting on the seat to get a bit of extra purchase. It just made sailing so much better. Here's a little video of the old girl at full sail. I think this was down at Raby Bay with the boys sailing one afternoon, and it's an absolute joy to sail. So why do we do all this? Well, here's a couple of shots that give you an idea of when you've finally sailed to somewhere you can really have a fat old time. That's all. See ya.